Now going ahead, page number 2 to the material sources. Material means whatever you can touch by your hand, that is known as material. So these are the following material sources, that is the coins what you have of the olden days of the past, places of worship, that is the temple, the churches, the mosques, then the things that you use in your daily use, the utensils, then the royal seals, that is the rubber stamps what I told you, then the modern architecture, that is some buildings are there, some forts are there, okay, palaces are there, clothing, cloth what they used to wear. Then there are museums. You can visit the museums. There you will find all the ancient things kept over there. You all must be visiting museums, right? When you go out for holidays at any place, that every place has got its own museum. So when you go there, so that particular local place, whatever are important things of the past, they are preserved and kept over there. And then you have ornaments also. So these are all the material sources which help us to get knowledge about that particular time. Now coming to coins. What can we come to know from the coins? We can understand the history with the help of coins, and we can study the changes in the printing of the currency notes. The Reserve Bank of India RBI prints the notes, okay, and it has its headquarters in Mumbai, and there is one printing press in Nasik. Now see here, two coins are given, okay. Now you see the back side of the coin, the Ashoka pillar is drawn. You see the front side, there is a grain, okay. So this is promoting agriculture. 1970, this coin was made in the year 1970. It is a 1 rupee coin. So the coins from 1950 to those used at present, the metals used for making them we can study, the different shapes we can study, the diversity of subjects on them together help us to understand the most important contemporary issues in India. Example, coins can convey the message of population control. Suppose one particular year you see that in the coin or on the notes it is written about family planning to control the population. That means during that time the politicians realized that India's population was growing and it was necessary to control it. Then importance of agriculture, to give importance to agriculture, farmers. Maybe during the war time there will be a soldier's portrait on the coin or say on the note, because during that time the war was going on, to show the importance to them. So these are the informations we can draw from the coins. Now next, coming to museums. Now all the states of India, they have museums that depict means shows the characteristics and displays the cultural and social heritage of that state. Like if you come to the museum of Maharashtra, what you will find, the Maharashtra culture, Maharashtra dances, Maharashtra ornaments, Maharashtra dresses, then some swords of some rulers of this particular area. So whatever important things, materials they have of the history of that particular area, that is kept in the museum. It is displayed in the museum so that all the tourists and the other people who want to study, they can come and have a look. We have Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj Museum at Mumbai. We have Reserve Bank Museum in Pune city. So Reserve Bank Museum means it will have all the coins right from the beginning till date. You know, coins are made, notes are printed, then they are even disposed of. They are closed by the government and then new notes are again printed. Now apart from the government museums, now there are some private collectors also who have set up their own museums. And now these are based on many various subjects. Example, coins, notes, different type of lamps, nutcrackers. Nutcrackers means, you know, nut is what? The betel nut, supari. Okay. So to cut that, you know, we have a machine that is known as a nutcracker. So, and from long era, people have been chewing betel nuts. Betel nuts means supari. So they used to have the cutter at their home, and we will find a variety of cutters of different shapes as the years passed on. Then the cricket equipment, the earlier cricketers, what type of bats they used to use, and now what are the bats used, everything they display. Now coming to the oral sources. Now what do you mean by the oral sources? Oral sources, they include folk tales. Okay, folk यानी जो गांव का होता है, गांव में जो कहानियाँ वगैरह सुनाते हैं, like the grandmother will tell to had told it to your mother will tell you, like this, from generation to generation it is passed. Then the folk songs, now these things are not written anywhere, so these are oral sources. Folk songs, then the proverbs, kahavat, muhavre, then the ballets are short stories, dances are based on that. Then the ovis, in Marathi, whatever are the verses in the oral tradition, the small songs, they are known as ovis, two lines. Then the activists were inspired by the pavadas. Pavadas means what? These are the Lok Sahir Anna Bhau Sathe and Shahir Amar Sheikh during the Sanyukta Maharashtra movement, when they were trying to fight for their rule. During that time they wrote pavadas, and they were for inspiring, matlab after listening to that, it was all the acts of bravery and all was told or narrated in them, so that whoever would hear that, they would fill up with the courage, and it would inspire them that yes, even we will go and fight for our right. For example, when you hear a national patriotic song, you're filled with love for your country, and that will motivate you to take a stand and fight for your country. Then one more example is there, showing that how one particular single event can be so nicely reflected in literature, and how a poet can perceive that event. There is a poem, Avhan, written by the famous Marathi poet Kusumagraj. Now he has written that on the theme of the Sino-Indian War. He has described the entire war in this, and the entire piece of literature is based on those events of the war. Then audio visual sources. Audio matlab jo what you can hear, visual what you can see. Television, films, internet are called audio visual media. Many domestic and foreign television channels also came under this head. Example, History Channel, you have got Discovery Channel. So you get information from all this. Now, Government of India started the FTII, that is Film and Television Institute of India, in Pune in 1960, and the main purpose of this institution was to provide public education, to educate the public through the audio-visual means. There was one institute called Indian News Review, which produced various newsreels on important events in politics, social issues, arts, sports and culture. It provided news related to these areas. Now this department also produced various documentaries on prominent social leaders. Documentaries means a descriptive, a narrative movie. It doesn't have a story, but it will describe a person, his events, his life and all that. And on all the other people who made major contributions for the country, and all about the important locations in India. Now these news releases and documentaries are useful for studying the history of modern India. So instead of sitting and finding out different books and reading, some person has already removed this in all this information he has gathered from various books, and he has made a documentary film out of that. So it is more easy for us to watch that film and understand. Now this is the logo. Logo is the symbol of FTII. Okay. Which films about patriotism do you know of? In your own words, write a review of one such film that you have liked. Now this will be one assignment I will be giving it to you, which you will have to write down and submit it. Any one movie on patriotism what you have seen, and write down what did you like in that movie. Write down a page. So we have seen that how important the written sources of history are of the modern India. And the time in the 21st century, the things are changing so rapidly that all these sources will prove to be inadequate, because we are advancing so fast. For example, you see that first we had just had a landline. Okay, so you cannot take the phone anywhere. Then in middle we had pagers. From pagers we came to mobile. Pagers would give you just a message, a written message would come to you. Then came the mobile phones, the cell phones. And but pager was very short lived, because what was the objective of the pager? That could be achieved by a mobile also, by sending SMS. So the huge amount of information available on the internet now, whatever you are having, that can be used to study history. But always whenever you are on the net, you have to take care that you verify the truth and authenticity of the information. Without verifying, you are not going to trust anything whatever you see on the internet, because most of the data over there, without checking, anybody can go and upload over there, and that is false, fake. Always try to get it from the Wikipedia, that they have verified it and then they are posting it. And now it has become comparatively easy for us to study history with all these sources. From the contemporary period, that is the long back period, they are easily available. And since a subject like history touches all the aspects of our life, we have to make efforts to preserve these resources. Our monuments, our forts, our buildings, old buildings, these are all our sources of history. The palaces. So we should not spoil them. We should conserve them. We should take care of this. If you find somebody else writing on the wall of the fort or spoiling it, you should also go and stop that particular act. So this completes your lesson, first lesson of history.